fun, make decisions, not problems.
When we solve our problems, we break up into smaller groups of about 2 to 3 girls. We do this so that each individual member can work on her skills in engineering, programming, building, and testing, which are vital skills in robotics. Our most widespread problem this year was drifting. Drifting is when the robot is supposed to be going straight, but it gradually goes to the left or to the right and eventually gets totally off course. To solve this problem, we use the engineering design process, which is when we define our problem, brainstorm, design, and build our ideas, and then test and improve them. We came up with 3 solutions to fix this problem.
Backing up into a wall is one solution to be abused. What this does is it aligns the wheels so the robot can drive a straight line. On my course, Blue Little Shoppers, we use this solution frequently, and it briefly corrected the problem. Although you must remember that this solution is not one most reliable, because you can only use it if your course has a wall that your robot is able to back into.
Thank you, Alexa. Now I'm going to talk about yet another solution to our drifting problem. This build solution is known as the swivel wheel and is pictured on the slide above. Although backing up is usually a good solution, there are some cases where it will not work. After all, you cannot back into a non-existent wall. An example of a course filled with these non-existent walls is Woo's Brickyard Dream, which is the course that I worked on this competition season. Although part of the course does have walls in it, most of it doesn't. And this is the part of the course where our robot drifted the most. So we couldn't just back into walls because they weren't there. During this part of the course, we're also running through a rather complicated line follower program. A line follower is when the robot follows a line with either color or light sensors. And usually, because the program is complicated, we don't like to mess with it because one little change can mess it all up. So my team knew automatically that we wanted a build solution. After asking other Robo Troopers, we came up with the swivel wheel that we have today. Before we had our swivel wheel on, our robot drifted and dragged everywhere. It just wouldn't go. Afterwards, it just goes through the course with ease, which is really nice. You just have to remember that this will not work for every single course because every course is a special situation.
As she mentioned, there are some solutions that involve programming. An example of a programming solution we had was uneven motor speeds. I know what you're probably thinking. You have uneven motor speeds. Well, of course your robot is drifting. No, we had our motor speed set to exactly 100 when we started our course, and so we had to reduce one of ours. The course that I worked on is filled with non-existent walls where we were having our drifting problem. That's Mario and Wishing Star. At the very beginning, we were having a huge drifting problem, and we didn't have any walls to back up into. So we changed the motor speeds. Up here on the slide, both of the motors were probably set to 75. So they had a choice whether to raise one motor or reduce the other. When your power is set to 100, you can't do that, which is why we reduced ours.
By using the engineering design process, we identified 3 different solutions to enhance our robot's performance to help improve our drifting problem, because no one solution worked for every situation. These solutions were backing up, which only worked if there are walls to back up into, using a swivel wheel, which really only worked if there weren't really any walls that you needed to back up into, and changing the motor speed, which are pretty versatile. Thank you for listening. Do you have any questions?
Hey, out of all the problems that you came across, which ones, you mentioned 3, which one was really the toughest ones? How did you guys decide amongst yourselves how to go after it?
I don't necessarily think any of them were more difficult than another, but mostly it's just what will work for your course. If you have a complex program, you probably want a build solution. If you don't, you can do a programming solution. And if you don't have anything to back up into, backing up doesn't really work, so the only solution you have is uneven motor speeds.
So how did you decide what to do amongst yourselves? Did one person take the lead, or did you all do it? solutions?
I think it's different, it was different with every case. Sometimes we discussed it amongst ourselves.